Hello, friends. Hope you're doing fine. Well, today I'm trying to cover a very important topic in Vedic astrology about Neechbhanga Rajyoga. Now, why this is important for any astrologer, especially the beginners, to understand, the chart in a better way. We read many things, but in practical, when we see the conditions, when we see a chart, many a times the theories are not matching with uh, what is practically happening. It is actually not the problem of the chart or the planets. Planet never lies. It's about us who are maybe missing the crux of the point or the very subtleties of the points. So very important to understand the rule and all the rules and regulation of Vedic astrology to predict correctly. So you see, there are many times where we have seen that a planet gets debilitated in a particular Rashi, but that planet has outperformed and has given him everything. So, what is the reason behind it? So, there lies the importance of understanding this yoke. This yoke is called as Neechbhanga Raj Yoga. So, this you can find in BPHS, this you can find in Faldipika as well. So, Maharishi Parashar, Maharishi Mantreshwar, everyone has mentioned about this. So I'm just reading out the condition. There are seven conditions mentioned under which a Neej Bhang Raj Yoga will be taking place. So it's a Raj Yoga, so it is like just the opposite of a debilitation results which you can expect from that chart. All the examples which I will give you are based on Kalpurush chart so that everyone can understand. So imagine there is a Kalpurush chart and the first condition now I'm reading out, just think that it's a Kalpurush chart and likewise you try to understand. So the first condition, there are seven conditions. The first condition I'm reading, the first condition is mentioned: the lord of the house where a graha is debilitated is in a kendra from the lagna or moon. Again I'm reading: the lord of the house where a graha is debilitated, the debilation lord of the graha actually, is in a kendra from the lagna or moon. So imagine moon from the Kalpurush chart is a fourth house, uh, you know, ruler, and he has gone to eighth house in the sign of Scorpio. It's a pure debilation, which we will understand. So keep this in mind, which we will come later, because moon is by this theory it is said that, for example, if I take the Kalpurush chart and if say I take the example of Saturn, and say Saturn is like the 10th lord and the 11th lord, and it's there in the Kalpurush lagna in Aries, and it is debilitated, naturally it is debilitated in Aries. So what the by the first dictum it is mentioned the lord of the house. So, who is the lord of the house of Aries? Mars. So, if Mars is in Kendra from the Lagna or from Moon, say Moon is in Cancer, Scorpio. So, just for an example, let us take Moon is in Scorpio. So, that means if Mars is in the Kendra from the Lagna or from the Moon. So, from the Moon, in the sense, Moon is in Scorpio, and we are trying to understand the Neej of Saturn. So Saturn is there in the Lagna, and the Lord of the Lagna, which is the Mars, is in the Kendra from the Lagna. So maybe if it is in 1, 4, 7, 10, or from the Moon, if it is in the Kendra, like all the the fourth houses, the Kendra houses, then the Saturn debilation get cancelled. Okay, so this is the first condition. So that means Moon is in Scorpio. The first thing which I've said, which I will come later. Moon is in Scorpio. So from Scorpio, what is a fourth house? 8, 9, 10, 11. So the fourth house is Aquarius, Then from Aquarius, the fourth house is 11, 12, 1, 2, which is the Taurus. Then the third one is your the 2, 3, 4, 5 Leo, and the finally it is Scorpio. So that means if Mars, the first condition I'm saying, Saturn is debilitated and is in the Lagna of Kalpurusha chart, and Moon is in the Scorpio, and if the Lord of the house where Saturn is debilitated, which is Mars, if it is in 1, 4, 7, 10 from the Lagna or from Moon, which is Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, or Leo, then Saturn debilation get cancelled. So this is the first condition. From the Lagna of the Moon, if the debilation planet is in the Kendra, it get cancelled. Okay. So the second one, second condition is mentioned here. The exaltation lord of the debilitated Graha is in a Kendra from the Lagna or Moon. So the exaltation lord of the debilitated Graha, Graha means the planet. So who is the debilitated Graha? Saturn is the debilitated Graha. So who is the exaltation lord of Saturn? Saturn get exalted in Venus. So if Venus is in the Kendra from the Kalpurusha chart 1, 4, 7, 10, or if Venus, if it is there in the Kendra from Moon is there in the Scorpio, so it's like 8, 11, 2, and 5, then also Saturn debilation get cancelled. Okay. Now the third condition I'm reading out. The debilitated graha is associated or aspected by its debilitated lord. Okay. The debilitated graha, the debilitated graha is Saturn, is associated or aspected by its debilation lord. So Saturn gets debilitated in where? Mars, like Aries. So the debilation lord is who? Mars. So if Mars is having any aspect or if it is conjuncted with Saturn, then it is cancelled. Again, the debilation is cancelled and it's a Neechbhanga Rajyoga. So we got the first three condition. I'm repeating. The first condition is what? Saturn is in the Kalpurusha Lagna. The Lagna Lord is in the Kendra, like in 1, 4, 7, 10, from the Lagna or from the moon, which is 8. Like moon, I have told you that the first condition, the moon is there in the 8th house in the Scorpio sign. So 8, 11, and 2nd and 5th. So if Mars is there in that, so Saturn debilation get cancelled. The condition 1. Second condition was what? The exaltation lord of the debilitated Graha. The debilitated Graha is who? Saturn. Who is the exaltation lord? Saturn gets exalted in Libra. So the exaltation lord is Venus. Again, Venus, if they're in the Kendra from the Lagna chart, from the 1, 4, 7, 10, or if from the moon, which is 8, 11, and 2 and 5, again it's get cancelled. So that is the second condition. And what is the third condition, which I have just repeated? If it is if the debilitated lord. Okay, so the debilitated lord is who? Like Saturn gets debilitated in Aries, which is like the debilitated lord is so naturally Mars. So if it is Mars, if it is directly aspecting Saturn, or if it is conjuncted with Saturn, then also it is getting cancelled. So these are the three conditions. Then the fourth condition. The fourth condition is the debilitated graha is associated or aspected by its exaltation lord. I'm repeating, the debilitated graha, who is a debilitated graha? Saturn is a debilitated graha, is associated or aspected by its exaltation lord. So if Saturn is, where is Saturn getting exalted? Saturn is getting exalted in Libra. So Libra, who is the Lagna, who is the lord of Libra? Venus. So if first for third condition we got, if Mars is there with Saturn or conjuncting with Saturn or aspecting with Saturn, then it is getting cancelled. And the other condition is if Venus, because Libra is where Saturn is getting exalted. So if Venus is there directly aspecting Saturn from the, say, the seventh house. Okay, not Saturn aspecting Venus. It is Venus aspecting Saturn, or maybe Saturn is sitting with Venus, and the like the, in the Aries sign. Then also it is getting cancelled. Okay, so this is the fourth condition. Now the fifth condition: the exaltation and the debilitation lord of the graha are mutually related by conjunction, aspect, or exchange of house. It's a very, very important point which we need to understand. The exaltation and debilitated lord of the graha. First, let us understand this. The exaltation and the debilitation lord of the graha. So, who is the graha? Graha is Saturn. So, the exaltation lord is Venus and the debilitation lord is Mars. Are mutually related by conjunction. So, they are conjuncted or aspecting each other, or they have exchanged. Exchange in the sense how, uh, for example, say, mane, Mars was in Venus, Libra, and Venus was in, say, Aries. So basically, it is exchanging. So that means the fifth condition says the exaltation and the debilitation lord, if it has got any type of combination, any type of combination between them, then also the debilitation, the Neechbhanga thing uh, gets comes into play, and the Saturn debilitation get cancelled. So these are the points which we don't see actually in the chart. We don't go so deep, but we should go so deep, and we try to understand the chart in full. Astrology is about going deep, deeper and deepest. So you see, like the fifth condition is a very, very important condition. Saturn in the Lagna, in the Aries sign, debilitated. We say gone. Saturn is in the Lagna, is having no Digbali and is weak, and the guy is gone. Whole life will be out of problem. But no, no. If the exaltation lord, the fifth condition, if the exaltation lord, who is Mars, sorry, your Venus, and the debilitation lord, who is the Mars, is making any type of combination, either exchange or conjunct or aspect, then also the Saturn debilation get cancelled. Fifth condition. Sixth condition: the debilitated graha exchanges house with its debilitated lord. That means the debilitated graha, who is a debilitated graha? Saturn is a debilitated graha. Now exchanges houses with the debilitated lord. That means Saturn is there in the Aries, and say, for example, Mars is there in, say, Capricorn. So, which means there is a Parivartan Yoga. Saturn will go to his own house Capricorn, and Mars will come to his own house Aries. Cancel. Cancel. Or maybe in Aquarius also. It is cancelled. Yep. So anyway, if it is there in Capricorn, so it is in Kendra from the Lagna, so it is getting cancelled. So it is not there in Capricorn. So for example, it is there in Aquarius, then also it is getting cancelled. Although we say in a Kalpurusha chart, 11th house is the house of Badhak. But the Saturn debilitation is getting cancelled. Okay. Now the last condition, two debilitated grahas aspect each other. Okay. So the two debilitated grahas are aspecting each other. So in this way we understand the all the 7 points. Now imagine, now I have said the same thing about the first, about the moon who is there in the Scorpio. So when I was trying to make you understand about the Saturn Neechbhanga Rajyoga. So if the first condition was what, the lord of the house where a graha is debilitated, the lord of the, who is the lord of the house? Lord of the house is Mars. If it there is in the Kendra from the, the ascendant, or from the moon, it is getting cancelled. So anyway, if Mars is there, which is like in a say a Kendra from, say, your Lagna, and or maybe from moon, then if it is there from moon, then moon debilitation will also get cancelled. Why? Because Scorpio is also, the lordship of Scorpio is also by Mars. So the seven condition we got, again I'm repeating for the final time. First condition, simple, what you need to understand, the debilitation lord from has to be there in the Kendra from the Lagna or from the moon. Any debilitation, say if Venus is debilitated, okay, Venus gets debilitated in Virgo. So Mercury in the Kendra in the D1 chart from the ascendant or from the moon getting cancelled. Venus is no more a debilitated planet. Second point, the exaltation lord of the debilitated Graha is in the Kendra or the moon. So in our case, Saturn ka exaltation lord is Venus. If it is there in the Kendra, from the the ascendant or from the moon, again is getting cancelled. Okay, so that is the second one. The third one is the debilitated Graha is associated or aspected by its debilitated lord. Okay, then also it is getting cancelled. Fourth is the debilitated Graha is associated or aspected by its exaltation lord. The debilitated Graha is associated or aspected by its debilitation lord and the exaltation lord. Then also it is getting cancelled. That means if Saturn is having any type of aspect from Mars or Venus, it is getting cancelled. Fifth point, the exaltation and debilitation lord of the Graha, anytime, like who are the exaltation lord? Mars and Venus. The exaltation lord is Venus and the debilitation lord is Mars. Any type of aspect, conjunction, parivartan yoga and whatever, any type of connection made, Saturn debilation get cancelled. So how things will be bad for that person? It won't be bad for that person. Sixth point, the debilitated graha exchange houses with the debilation lord. So the debilation graha, like the Saturn, is exchanging with Mars, Aquarius and Aries comparison which I have given. And finally, the two debilitated grahas aspecting each other. So Mars is also debilitated, for example, and say the other planet Saturn is also debilitated. So in this way, you need to understand. In this way, you need to understand there are seven principles which are mentioned. So you know, so it's not like that. And similarly, the exaltation planet also doesn't get exalted like that. Exaltation is a very, very big thing. Exaltation doesn't mean money. The exaltation doesn't mean, you know, that everything will be fine and everything will be like, bed of roses. It's not like that. Rather, I've seen exaltation planet creating major problems. Like mostly the problems come from exaltation planets, because when you have a strong chart with all exaltation planets, you're principally very strong. So in the worldly affairs, you face too much problem, too many problems. Rather, debilitation planets gives you, like, you become very realistic, and you try to overcome your negativities. Neechbhanga also is like that. Slowly it develops. Slowly that results will come, but it will be a solid foundation. So that is the thing. So hope I could make everyone understand, and very, very important topic of Vedic astrology about understanding about the Neechbhanga Rajyo. So hope I could make you clear about this seven principles, and so you need to keep in mind, and you need to also understand that the key similar condition will also happen for exaltation thing in a reverse manner, which maybe in the next video I will try to cover up. Thank you very much. Thank you for seeing my video. Thank you.